Hi, everybody. Good morning. We are here to get ready this spring as we head towards a wonderful summer of 2019. I'm Andy. On my right here is Robin, and on my left here is Dan. And we are looking forward to a fantastic summer with you guys. Just want to make sure that everything is working here and make sure that we are working as it's supposed to, but it does look like we're appearing. We've got a chat box over on the side of your screen that we are monitoring, and if we can, we'll be helping you answer any questions that you have over there. So feel free to write any questions, comments, or if there's any technical difficulties, you can post those in the chat, and we'll be doing our best to monitor those. We're going to walk you through on screen as we do the forms, so that you can see exactly how to do what we're trying to do and help you go there. Hi, Levi and Sam. It's good to see you guys. Hopefully, you're doing the forms so that your parents don't have to. But hope you guys are doing well. See your comment there. So I'm going to give you a quick introduction, but basically the way that you are going to log on is through our system called Camp in Touch, and you've probably seen that in reading any of our literature. And Camp in Touch, you created an account when you signed up for camp, and using that password and that login is how you're going to access your forms and any other documents that you'll need as we get ready for camp. And so you can go right to northstarcamp.com and click log in the upper right-hand corner, and that is the best way to access the forms. In a minute, we're going to switch over, and we're going to be able to watch Robin's screen, and she's going to walk everyone through some of the forms like that, and we're going to talk through them. But Camp in Touch is the system that we got on, and it's also how we'll be posting pictures for you guys to see over the summer. So you'll be able to log in there to see pictures of your campers, and we also do some other news and documents through there. So it's a great resource for us to pay attention to. That is what we're going to do. This should take about 30 minutes, and we're going to start here. Dan's going to explain some of the different ways to that camp forms do work. So if I can figure it out properly, I'm going to switch us over to we're going to just be in the corner of the screen here, and then the forms will be what you're seeing on the main part of the screen. So hopefully this works, and that should be live now. So this is the homepage of Camp in Touch. Dan, you want to explain how those forms can be submitted?
Absolutely. Okay, so if you can see on once you log into Camp in Touch, which is the screen that you should be looking at right now that we've pulled up, all of your documents, all of your documents are on the Forms and Documents link. So you'll click in there, go into Forms and Documents, and you will see a list of things that are needed to be submitted. Right now they're in black. Black meaning that they're not due yet, but they haven't been turned in. And so once you submit a document, or a form, I should say, once you submit that form, that black link will turn green, which means it's all done. You don't want them to turn red, because if they're red, that means they're overdue. After May 1st, when they are due, if they're not in yet, all your forms are going to turn red. But hopefully that won't happen to anybody. If you look, there's a couple different ways, a couple different types of forms and ways to submit them. Some of the forms are going to have a little computer icon screen to the left of them. That means that they're a computer online form. Basically, all that means is you click on the link for that form, and it's going to, all the fields that you need to populate are there. You submit it on your computer, easy, or your device. Some of the forms will also have, instead of a computer little icon, they'll have a little barcode icon. For those forms, there's two different ways to upload those documents. One is by faxing them in. It's called the faxback form. Another way you can submit those is to upload them straight into Camp in Touch. And so you can choose both of those options. If you choose to fax in those forms, a couple of important things to remember. One is that especially if you have multiple children that at camp, you have to submit the proper form for the proper son. You can't just cross out your son's name and then submit the same form for another son. At the bottom right-hand corner, there's a barcode and a name, and that's how the system recognizes it and uploads it straight to your son's record. So we need to make sure that you are uploading and faxing in the proper form for the proper son. Make sure that when you print out that form and fax it in, that barcode isn't cut off, that it's legible. That way, everything will get sent to the proper record. The other way of uploading a fax back form is to upload it straight through Camp in Touch. And you'll see that if you scan fill out your form or fill it out online, and then you can upload it as a PDF usually. The only thing that you should know about uploading them is that it needs to be uploaded as a single document. So a multi-page form, you can't upload page 1 and then upload page 2 separately, because then page 2 is going to override page 1. So fill out the forms, combine them into a single document, and then you can upload them. If you need any help with that, if you don't have the proper software to help you combine those two forms, you can email them into office@northstarcamp.com. We can assemble them and put them together. Of course, another option for any of these fax back forms, if you prefer, you can print them out, put them in an envelope, mail them to us, we'll scan and upload, and we'll get those uploaded for you too.
Great. Now we're going to turn it over to Robin here, and we're going to walk through some of our specific forms, starting with the health form. And Robin oversees our health team. Our health team consists of a couple of nurses and a couple of health assistants, as well as rotating doctors, and also our medical director, who runs the hospital, oversees the clinic in town in Hayward. And Robin coordinates with that, so she's going to talk about some of the health forms that need to be completed.
Great. So we're going to start specifically with the health history form. This is the biggest health document that we'll want everyone to complete every single year. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the health history form. What you're looking at is a test screen that we've made a test camper just to show you, and I've started to fill out some of the information. Most of the pages are just going to be phone numbers, contact information. The medical information that's required, the nice part is that none of it has to be submitted by a doctor for this health history form. So it's information that you, the parent or the caregiver, will have about allergies, about past injuries, past illnesses, those sorts of things that you'll want to include in the form itself. I'm going to go ahead and skip through a couple of these pages. Most of it should be pretty self-explanatory as you walk through. But I do want to point out one piece on the health history form. We're going to scroll through. On this example, I'm listing that the camper that we're using as our example does have ADHD. And so we're going to add the part that I'm going to show everyone on this page 5 of this form is the medication. We're going to talk a little bit about medications at camp. If your child at camp is going to be taking any regular daily pill medication, that will need to be submitted through our outside pharmacy called Camp Meds. So you'll need to go ahead and take the extra steps to register that medication, daily pill medication only, through Camp Meds. So that's saying that anything that's not daily and anything that's not pill does not need to go through Camp Meds. EpiPens, nebulizers, inhalers, those sorts of medications, even that are taken just as needed, will not need to be taken to go through Camp Meds specifically. In this section, so it does ask, will the camper take medications at North Star Camp? And I'm going to mark yes. You will have a spot that you're going to fill out all the necessary information for the medication itself. Please be sure that the prescription that your doctor has written you matches exactly what you are putting into these forms. If there have been changes or there's been changes in time, please make sure that it all matches up with the prescription itself. Otherwise, you'll be getting a phone call from our health center saying, hey, this doesn't match. We need it to all align to make sure that we're taking the right steps to properly serve your child while they're at camp. The last piece I will mention is that we do want to know how the medication is arriving at camp. So like I said, if it's a daily pill medication and it's going through Camp Meds, please mark in the special sections area, or if you see down below, you can add comments. Please mark in one of these sections that how the medication is coming, whether it be via Camp Meds or if the child is going to be traveling with the medication via via the bus or through the airport, or if it's arriving in some other way, just so we know what to anticipate. So when we go to collect the medication and store it in the health center, we have exactly a running list of how it's arriving. If you don't mark it, we'll definitely be sending you a phone call just to confirm how it's getting to camp. Other than that, the health history form is pretty self-explanatory, but we do definitely want you to update that medication information along the way.
Before we move on to the immunization form, we do highly recommend that you enter your immunizations into the health history form. Even though it takes a little extra work the first time, those will be saved forever. And that way in future summers, when you need to just go and update it, or even if your son is to go get another immunization or shot between now and camp, you can update that right then, and that updates live to us and our health team, and it makes it quite simple in that way to keep us up to date on any changes in your son's health status.
Absolutely. The second form that we're going to walk through is the immunization form. And like Andy said, it is built into the health history form. And that is a great tip that we try to tell as many families as possible, is to actually put those dates of the immunizations in there. If you do want to have your doctor send us the form, or you yourself have the form that you'd like to send us as far as the immunizations, here is the paper copy, the separate immunization form that you can fill out and then send back to us either by faxing or uploading it. Either way will work for us. So let me walk back here. Back to our forms. The other immunization is the immunization certification. This is a very quick form that you'll just need to certify that your child is up to date on all of their vaccines, as they should be regularly administered, just for our own records. So that's the last piece is we do have one form. It's called medical recommendations. This is, we say it's an optional form, but it's optional, you know, pending that there's no additional medications or anything. So the medical recommendation forms, who needs to fill it out? Any camper that is taking a prescription medication at camp needs to fill out the medical recommendations forms. Any child that's been hospitalized or is hospitalized within the last year for any reason, or is being followed for any chronic health condition. So this includes ADHD. This includes kind of any ongoing health, you know, concern that we would want just contact with the doctor. The form itself, this is the only form, the medical recommendation form, is one that does have to be reviewed by a doctor and have a doctor's signature. We want to make sure that when your child is at camp, that they're in a healthy and safe environment, that your doctor does know about it in advance. So this is the one form that we ask, please give it to your doctor, have them sign it, and then send it back to us either by faxing or upping it to our system. So that's the optional portion of the medical recommendations form.
We really view the medical recommendations form as an option, for your doctor to communicate directly any instructions with camp. So if any physician that you work with needs to communicate specific instructions to our health team, that's the best way to do it. And that, again, is the only one that actually requires a doctor's signature or a trip to doctor's office in any capacity. All right, we're gonna click over to the camper profile here, which is so the medical recommendations form was the opportunity for the doctors to talk directly to the health team. The camper profile is the opportunity for the parents to talk directly to the counselors of your son and to really the entire staff of people who will be taking care of your kids over the course of the summer. Before we get into the camper profile, one thing you should know is that your son's counselors will see the camper profile ahead of your son's arrival, and will also have it as a resource available to them throughout the summer to hear any strategies or tips or concerns that you might have that you want to have addressed. Another thing before we start is the camper profile is going to take a long time. I would say all the other forms are going to be quick and pretty easy. The camper profile is going to take a while because we're going to ask you to give us an in-depth personality analysis of the strengths and weaknesses and goals and concerns for your son and his summer. And so as we do that, one recommendation is that you you write the answers to the questions somewhere else. This form does have a tendency to time out if you're taking a very long time, and we don't want you to lose your work and get frustrated. So please, please, please write this in a Google Doc or in Microsoft Word, and then go ahead and save that elsewhere. So we think that that is a really good thing to know before you know anything else about Camper Profile. So that's where we start. And then as you look through it, know that these things you can answer with one word and click check and complete the form, but that's not going to be what's most helpful to us or to your son over the course of the summer. So the more details you can give us, the more honest analysis you can give us, the better off your son is going to be, and the better care we're going to be able to take from him right from the get-go. And so that's really important. And I would also advise you that anything you see at home, if you were to see a behavior that only exists at home, or it only exists at school, it's still likely we're going to see that at camp. In being with your son for 24 hours a day for 4 weeks or 8 weeks, we're gonna learn most of his behaviors. Most of those things are going to show through. So even if it's something that he only does with his brother, or he only does with mom and dad, I definitely do recommend still make sure to get that on. And so I think those are the big things about the Camper Profile. But again, and if you have any questions or concerns or want to talk to us about specific things, we're here for that. You can call us anytime to talk through that. That goes for everything, but especially anything. If you're writing the Camper Profile, that's a great opportunity to speak with us, and we'll all see it. The three of us will see it. The counselors will see it. The village directors will see it. It's a great resource that we have that's ongoing. And then we have another form. So we'll move on from the Camper Profile to one called the Camper Questionnaire. And so this is for the campers themselves to fill out. I'm going to say that again. The campers themselves are supposed to fill this out. Okay. No parent should complete the Camper Questionnaire. That's really important. We want the boys to do it. Now, as a parent, we do think it's great if you want to talk through those questions with your boys. It's a really nice way to have some conversations about the things that they're excited about, the things that they're nervous about, and we also put on there anything that the boys want their counselors to know about them before they arrive. So that could be any nerve or a special attention or really anything that they're looking for. So it's a great opportunity for the boys to speak to us and to their counselors before they arrive. We expect that to take 10 minutes or so it's not a long form, but really for us, it's about bringing the kids in on the process. And something you'll hear us say over and over again, I'm sure you've heard us say it already, is we talked about why to choose North Star in the first place, is we believe in being intentional about the social and emotional growth of your child, and they're going to have a blast, they're going to make new friends, they're going to learn new activities, but this is the reason why they come, and so we want them in on this process now so that you can talk through, well, why am I going to camp if I'm nervous? Well, it's to learn that you can handle things even that you're nervous about it, so you can build up some resilience and grit. It's so that you learn that you can take on these challenges and be more independent, and they're going to gain all those values over the summer. So best to start that conversation ahead of time, and we really hope that the Camper Questionnaire can be a time where you're setting those goals, putting those thoughts about camp on paper, and making sure he's on board. All right, we're going to turn to Dan on this one, and he's going to go over the parent authorization form, transportation form, and some other helpful documentation that we need and can be a resource before camp.
Okay, so the parent authorization form is often known as the insurance card form. We do need proof of insurance for all of our campers, and so for that, you have the parent authorization form. On that form, you'll print it out. You will need to include copies of your insurance card. It's possible for some of you might need both sides of this form, which might include any other insurance or medical medication prescription cards. You may just need one side, the front and back of your insurance card. What's really important on this form is that we do need the front page of the form signed and submitted. we do need more than just a copy of the insurance card. The bottom of that form is what allows us to seek medical attention on the chance that that needs to happen for your son. It is a permission to treat. And so sometimes some folks will just kind of send, fax us a copy of their insurance card. And in that case, we're going to email you back and say, hey, thanks. But we also do need the bottom part of that form signed. So get that done in the first try. We do need the bottom of that form signed, so send those both in together. One other quick thing I'm going to hit on, Robin was talking about the immunization form. You may choose, if you want, to send in a copy of the records from your doctor's office. That's perfectly fine. A lot of families choose to do that. Not a problem. What we ask you to do, if you choose to do that, is to also include this front page, which again, it's got that the barcode at the bottom right-hand corner, and that's what helps our system send this form and the immunization record to your son's account. You don't have to fill in the immunization info on this sheet. If you are sending in the records from your doctor's office, just include a blank copy of this on top, and our system will send everything to the right place. Okay, we also have the transportation form. This is an online form, again, completely done on your computer or device, and this is where you are telling us how your son is getting to camp. It's pretty straightforward, pretty basic information. If you aren't 100% sure, maybe you're thinking about picking up your son at the end of the summer, that's okay. This form can always be updated, as can pretty much all of our other forms at any time. We do ask, again, that you get these forms done, especially for those coming from outside of the Chicago area, so that we can put our plans, our logistics together for travel. Get those done. If you need to update them, you can always go online and change them. A quick note or two on travel and transportation. You may be asking, hey, should I pick my son up at camp? Should I drop him off at camp? As far as the drop-off, we recommend against the dropping off. We believe that the bus trip to camp is a pretty important part of the process of coming to camp. They start making friends. They start meeting other people. We do have some movies that we show on the bus. It's pretty entertaining for them, and so we really highly recommend.
And we feel it's the easiest way to start the summer,
Absolutely.
Because then they arrive with the bus, to counselors jumping up and screaming, to this adrenaline rush of excitement, rather than kind of this slow goodbye with the parents that can be pretty difficult. So
that's really why Andy goes on the Chicago bus, is because he loves it when all the counselors are going nuts when he gets off the bus. And that's why I'm in Minneapolis, so that we can have that fun coming into camp. As far as at the end of the summer, if you want to pick up your son, that's totally your choice. Many of our families do choose to pick their sons up. Many of them choose to have them take the bus or fly. That's completely your decision, and totally up to you. Okay, we're going to talk really quickly about just general forms and general documents, I should say. At the bottom of the forms and documents page, there are a handful of other resources. These resources are also on the Preparing for Camp page of the North Star website. And I just really quickly mention them. We don't need to kind of go through everything, because they're there and you can look through them. The first thing on there, which was also emailed to you, is our spring checklist. This is simply that. It's a checklist of forms that we have and things that you need to do to prepare for the summer. And so at any time you can refer back to this to say, hey, what are the key dates? What are the key forms that I need to be sending in? This is just meant to be a guide that will walk you through the forms that you need to get done. There's also the Preparing for Camp info packet. This is a more in-depth, I think, an 8 or 9 page guide to help you prepare for the summer. It talks about some key camp policies. It talks about really important elements of the camp program that we think that all of our families should be aware of before the summer. And so take a read through that. It's really important. Of course, we have, again, on both pages, these are going to be both on Camp in Touch as well as on the Preparing for Camp page, the equipment list. This is a little bit more of a guide of the specific things that your son needs for camp, but also some tips about the best water bottle to get, or a good cook kit, or if you're buying a sleeping bag for the first time. It's more than just saying buy a sleeping bag. It's going to give you some guidance into being a smart buyer and packing the right stuff and leaving stuff at home that aren't needed at camp. There are a couple of other documents on there for first-time campers and first-time parents, as well as for our oldest kids, for our 15-year-old campers that are going to Canada. There is a trip guide for the kids, for those kids, as well as there's a form that they need to fill out. But again, we don't need, and there's some other resources and some cool things that you can buy. And then at the bottom, all the way at the bottom of the Preparing for Camp page, is a little section that says emails preparing for camp. And what this is this is just going to be a place where any emails that we have sent out and will continue to send out to help you prepare for the summer, we're going to always put a copy of that at the bottom of that page. And so if you know that, hey, I got that email back in January about travel information and I don't know where that went, that's where it's going to be there. It's going to always be at the bottom of that page. The forms email that we sent out March 1st, we put a copy of it there. Any forms that we always send to prepare you for the summer are going to always live in that spot and are easy access for you.
Great. We are happy to take any questions that you have at this point in the chat box, or at any point where you can call, you can email, or you can text us about any questions you guys have regarding forms, or frankly, anything else for that matter. So if you have any, please go ahead and type those in, and then we can respond to those either in the box or later. Last thing I want to touch on before we go today is just the spring nerves, right? And as we now are only about 2 months away from the start of camp, boys of all ages, of all experience levels, do start to get nervous about camp. And it's totally normal whether they're 8 or whether they're 15. It's totally normal whether they're coming for the first time or they're coming for the 5th time. Boys get nervous in the spring, and that's part of the process. And so we just want to give you some tips about how to support them through it. In all honesty, being nervous is part of the camp experience. All of camp is designed to be it's all designed to be something that the boys can do, but they have doubts that they can't do. And that's how we help build confidence. They might not know that they can water ski, and we help them water ski. They might not know that they can go on a camping trip successfully, and we're going to help them see that they can do that. But pushing them outside of their comfort zone in that way is part of the camp experience. And I'd be honest about that with your boys right from the jump, right here in the spring, by saying, hey, it's okay that you're nervous. That's part of the process. This is something that we know as your parents, that we know as your family, that whoever it is that we as the camp directors know that you can do. And yeah, it's going to be a little scary. And yeah, you're going to meet new people, and maybe going to a new place and trying new things. But we believe that you can do that, and we know all the good that's going to come out of it. And again, talk to them about your goals for their growth over the summer, whether it's as simple as them cleaning their room, taking accountability for their action, gaining more confidence, learning different values, learning to handle different aspects of their behavior. Let them know that that's also why they're coming to camp. And so start right away with the nerves and saying that. The most important message, though, that they can hear when they talk about being nervous about camp from you as a parent is that they can handle this, that they've got this, that you believe in them. That is bar none the most important message that they can hear. And so I want to stress that everybody tell their kid in some way, we trust that you've got this, that you're going to do great. And often the response from a camper will be, what if I don't? What if I don't like it? What if I'm too homesick? What if? And you just reaffirm, you got this. You got this. Okay. One thing that they'll all hear from us is over and over again, we'll tell them anything that's bothering them, they should come talk to us as staff. They can talk to Dan or Robin or myself. They can come and talk to any of their counselors. Most of the boys will have 3, if not 4 counselors in their cabin there to take care of them. There's village directors. We have about 100 staff for about 185 kids. And so we want them to know that that's what we're there for. The what if it doesn't work question, the worst thing you can say, the one thing that I ask you not to say, under no circumstances say, no matter how much pressure they're putting on you, is that you'll come pick them up. if they're struggling, because that will they will use that as their escape hatch, right? And so it's like, I got a paper cut, I need to get picked up, right? The first sign things get hard, now they're going to want to pull that escape hatch, and we don't want them to pull that. So please just reaffirm, you've got this. You've got this. Now, we're going to be in touch with you. If it's your first as a camper, you're going to hear most likely from Robin or myself in that first week to let you know how they're adjusting and let you know how they settled in. If you get a letter that you're concerned about, if you so much as have a bad dream and you're just concerned and you need to know that they're okay, just let us know. We're here for that, and we'll help you through the adjustment too, because we do know that as parents, it is difficult to send your child away to camp. It gets easier every year as you see how happy they are and how fulfilled they are and how much they grow and develop from it. But especially the first time, we know it's difficult, and so we're happy to touch base with you. And so please don't feel bad. Don't feel bad about using us as that resource. But here in the spring, again, you've got this. What I always say to the boys is that camp is going to be awesome, but it's not going to be perfect, right? So of course something is going to bother you over the course of 4 weeks. Nobody has 4 weeks where nothing goes wrong at all, where you don't have one down feeling. But if you're sad, if you're anxious, if you're upset, if you're in an argument with a friend, if your stomach hurts, if your nose is runny and you don't know what to do about it, we're here. Talk to us, right? Anything, and we're going to help them through whatever those problems are. And we view that as such an important part. Every camp talks about independence. Every camp talks about independence. But to me, one of the most important traits of independence is self-advocacy. And we're trying to teach the boys that they can be comfortable asking for help. And we do everything we can to make sure our entire staff is approachable, and not just approachable, but frankly is checking in with the boys so that they have every opportunity to voice any concerns that they have, so that we can help them through that. So again, you've got this. You've got this. That's what you tell them. You're going to do great. And if you have anything, you can talk to Andy, to Robin, to Dan, to your counselors, to your village director, any staff member. That's what they're there for. They're there to take care of you as the campers. And so please reinforce that as much as possible.
We have a question.
I do have a question.
A really good question. Rachel wants to know, her son Evan is wondering what happens right after they get off the bus. How do they find their group? Because for a new camper, as exciting as that might be, that could also be a little bit scary.
Yeah, that's a great question, Rachel. So they're basically, to really map it out, you're going to get off the bus. First of all, I'm going to be on the front bus from Chicago, and most of the first-time campers will jump on that front bus with me, and we'll have other staff on the bus. We're going to be introducing them the whole time on the bus to one another, and then preparing them for what happens. So they're going to get to camp. There's going to be like a tunnel. They're going to run through the tunnel. The counselors are going to be cheering, and then the counselors are going to go start talking to them. And then really shortly thereafter, we ring the bell. Everybody's standing right on the hill. If you've been to camp, it's right in front of the lodge. There's nowhere to go other than to gather in this big circle around the flagpole right at the beginning. And while they're around the flagpole, I'll announce the cabins. That's when everybody will find out who their counselors are and what cabins they're in. And as they get announced, they meet in the middle of this big circle. They get a big hug from their counselors, and then their counselors are gonna take them to their cabins. They'll help them find their bags and bring everything in, and they'll move straight in at that time. So it definitely is overwhelming, but it's incredibly friendly and warm of a reception, and the boys, we make it so that they know exactly where to go, no camper is going to be made to feel lost at that time. They're going to be standing right around the flagpole in this big circle with the entire camp, and everybody's going to be cheering and excited. And then they'll hear their name called, and meet their counselors in the middle of the circle, and they'll get a big hug, and off they'll go. Do we have any other questions out there? I think, but thank you, Rachel, for that awesome question. So any other questions, again, please feel free to reach out. You can call, you can text us at the camp number, 715-462-3254. And with quick questions, you can email us. We're here for that the whole way through. So thank you for being prompt with your forms. Those things are due by May 1st to give us time to read them, time to go over them, time to review them, and to make sure that we have everything in order that we need in order. And so please get those done in time so we don't have to chase you down too much. But it's important for your son, again, that they're done in time so that we have time to review those and do the things that we need. But we're looking forward to a wonderful summer of 2019. It is North Star's 75th summer, which is really cool and really special. And we're looking forward to spending it with your son. So if you need anything, please reach out. And otherwise, have a great day and take care. We'll see you soon.